where I try to talk about what's morally right, and you guys know I probably do. But today, I'm talking about technology once again. And this episode, I'm just going to call it Look What Science Made. And I feel, once again, that this is some kind of thing that's an abomination of God. This is something where you try to say if it's morally right or wrong, because technology will take over our jobs soon, our love lives apparently. I don't understand why they don't just make some kind of algorithm and use it to make an algorithm to figure out who to date. Not like the dumb dating websites, because that's ridiculous. That's just all fake, stupid crap. It's just like when people talk about their star signs, they go, what sign are you? I'm a Libra, I'm a Gemini, a Pisces, and then they say, oh, we're compatible. Pretty much everyone's compatible if you do it that way. But we're totally avoiding everything of what the whole meanings of your signs are. There's a lot more deeper stuff into it if you study into it. And it's really more about understanding yourself and trying to fix yourself and so many different things. I understand Jesus himself was born underneath a star, but his stars that made the big North Star was actually a combination of things going on in the universe that only happens a certain amount of years in humanity or in Earth span time. So it's something worth learning about if you're interested. But what I'm talking about is they make an algorithm that can actually hook people up instead of making sex robots and sex life robots or whatever the hell, and all these other things that have nothing to do with humanity or God. And it's just ridiculous. It's just plain up stupid ridiculous, and there's no need for it. And so let's see what science made. Once again, this is this episode. But if you can, leave a like. Just let me know if you like it. And pretty much what I'm trying to say is we need to know what's happening, and I appreciate if you guys would just put your likes and stuff and let me know. So let's begin. These are the creators of the shows, the Carso show or whatever it's called, and yeah, they got some very good stuff they talk about, so check their channel out.
Meet Elenoid, the humanoid robot. It was built in Japan, modeled after a woman from Central Europe. At the Technical University of Darmstadt, this unique robotic creation is currently being programmed, and scientists are conducting research on the impact such hyper-realistic robots can have on people. The initial impressions upon meeting the robot are fascination and discomfort. Elenoid stands at a height of 170 centimeters and wears a size 36 dress. Her medium-length hair, reaching her shoulders, is partially real. The hyper-realistic female robot can move her face, arms, fingers, and hips. Elenoid can speak, laugh a little, and express some emotional expressions. This robot models are designed to study how people react to the environment of hyper-realistic robots, and whether...
So I think even with this robot, I think they need to let people get comfortable with the thought of having robots in society, even though it's always been a fantasy since the 50s and stuff with robots, 50s, 60s, 70s. There's always been robots in sci-fi, but I believe that in normal everyday human life, it's more of a, is it a threat against us, or is it something that might take over because of other things that made robots more toxic, like Terminator or RoboCop in a way, because come with me, dead or alive, type of thing, and all that. It's just like we have a lot of robots that are looked at in good light, and then we got some that are looked at bad. Like everyone looks at R2D2 and C3PO as like, oh, these are some fun, nice robots. But then you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger and you're like, oh, he's a Terminator, he's gonna destroy us all and crap. And I think that's because Sarah Connor, looks really good in Terminator 2. She's like selling it. She's like, oh, we're all gonna die, he's gonna kill us all. If it wasn't for Sarah Connor in Terminator 2 and in Part 1, you would probably like robots. But anyway, my point is, people have to get comfortable with it if that's what's going to be the norm. But it just seems a little bit too useless of a thing just to have a robot that can talk and socialize. But you need one that can actually do something, like knows how to fix things, that can teach you how to fix things, or teach you anything that'd be beneficial. And even with AI right now, they teach you enough, but not enough to do with exactly what you want to do. I mean, every time they make an AI, I actually try to study it to see if it is beneficial to mankind. And just recently there was one I used, and they made it sound like it's the perfect thing, the perfect AI program. And once again, it's flawed. It won't do exactly what I want it to do, which means it should have more options so somebody can create a certain thing that they want to do. And that's just my opinion. So back to this.
Whether they are willing to interact with them. During the presentation, many people experienced both fascination and discomfort. Some took selfies with the female robot. Some people avoided her, trying not to pay attention to the robot. And there were those who simply watched.
Now, see that face she just made there? I'm going to see if I can go back a bit. Oh, well, let's see here.
Some took selfies with the female robot. Some people avoided her, trying not to pay attention to the robot. And there were those who simply...
Look at that shit. That is terrifying, and it reminds you of Chucky. That is like a Chucky face. It's like, oh my God, what is Chucky gonna do to me? That's some creepy nonsense. So hell yeah, people are gonna be standoffish towards this robot and run and everything. Look at this, it's terrifying. And you can honestly tell that it's plastic around the mouth area. I mean, all this does not look real. There's no moisture in the mouth. There's no, I mean, it just looks like rubber everywhere. And just the eyes together, because I mean, usually, yeah, we got, I don't know what you call these, eyelashes or whatever. Even dudes, you can see eyelashes and shit. So I mean, it's just so artificial, and you can't get someone to like something that's artificial like that and just accept it. I mean, it's something that's gonna take, regardless of how many of these things they're making, it's gonna take a long time for mankind to truly accept these type of beings, or I don't know what you want to call them, copy humans or clone fake humans or something, I don't know. But it's going to take mankind a while.
simply watched, afraid to approach. An interesting feature of the robot is its warm silicone hands. This is a special feature of this model, which allows the robot to be closer to humans. As the creators claim, a cold, mechanical handshake repels many people. Additionally, Elenoid can autonomously converse and engage in conversation. This humanoid robot from China has already started working in full swing. It operates at the factory of the Chinese...
So I'm stopping it again because, okay, here we got the last robot. Like I said, people gotta get time for that type of thing. You can't just wake up one day and make a robot that looks exactly like a human female or a male and decide people need to accept it and let it be in society and give it a job. I mean, honestly, what does robots need money for? I mean, are they gonna buy a house? Or are they gonna buy a car? They're gonna make robot babies. And, you know, if a dude and a chick robot got together and then it makes what? A cyborg? That's some crazy nonsense. The future is damned. Okay, I'd rather have a fleshly female that you can breed with and make some babies. An experiment. You can get a girl that's got bad eyesight and have kids with her. I mean, your eyesight might be bad and the baby ends up blind. It's an experiment. Then you get you a big fat chick and you try to make a baby that's in between. Maybe it'd be bigger fat or a little fat or not fat at all. You know, it's an experiment. Okay, sometimes two fat people can make the most beautiful chick, and then, like, you know, a little midget and then a little giant person, and then they make a baby. You know, maybe a giant midget person. You know, I don't know. Okay, I'm just saying things, and I don't know if it's offensive, but yeah, honestly, it's just like experiment with the regular human DNA and gene pool instead of robots. Now, with this thing though, what does he need money for? He's taking a human job, and he's gonna sit back and, you know, buy circuits or freaking spark plugs. I don't know.
His company NIO, which is engaged in the production of electric vehicles.
Oh boy, commercials like okay.
Walker S robots, presented by UB Tech Robotics, assist in quality checking of door locks, seatbelts, and headlights, as well as attaching logos to cars. Unfortunately, there are no exact details about the characteristics of the new robot, but its predecessor was 145 centimeters tall, weighed 77 kilograms, and was equipped with a lithium iron phosphate battery, providing only 2 hours of autonomous operation. Although NIO has not yet made an official statement regarding the pilot program for the use of humanoid robots, UB Tech Robotics enthusiastically assesses the potential use of robots on electric vehicle assembly lines to increase productivity.
So, They're made to increase productivity. They're made to be on assembly lines. The first one was larger, huger, but only ran for 2 hours, which means he was pretty much useless. I mean, they got humans that could do more than 2 hours days of work, and probably way more efficient than a robot. But they're getting replaced by robots in this thing. It's like, they tell it. The guy that made Motown. The story they tell about it is that it was like music to him, and that's how he was able to create went from the auto factory to the music business and created a whole bunch of good music and put them out in the assembly line. So most of the best black music comes from Motown, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm just saying they took that away from people by making these things, and if these things go global, then eventually there will be no more auto mechanics that are human in a factory, which means it can only leak out into the regular society, and you won't be taking your car to a guy to change your oil and fix your tires. You'll be taking it to a robot, and maybe one of those ones that look like a human, because they're not going to let these regular ones out to be a threat. It's just something that you have to have a lot of money for these droids and robots and cyborgs and shit. Bionics. Bionic Man will cost $6 million. So it's crazy.
The company claims on its website that the future of humanity lies in the coexistence of humans and robots. It seems that robots are making significant strides even in the beauty industry. Robots from the company Loom, equipped with computer vision and artificial intelligence technologies, are already operating in beauty salons in California. The robot individually applies each eyelash to the prepared eye, doing so in 15 minutes. Although the robot's setup takes 50 minutes, overall, it is still 1/3 faster than a human would accomplish the task.
Now, see, it says 1/3 faster than a human taking over the task. But that 1/3 isn't really that much difference to a human doing it. I mean, if you actually do the math, 1/3 is nothing compared to whatever this robot can do and a human can do. It's two different things. But like I said, that 1/3 is nothing. It's meaningless. It's like when you say, "Oh, I'm a third of this and that," so like you're the top of my pinky finger. You know what I mean? I'm a third of this person. Well, that's like a tip of your finger. It's just nothing. So it's like, and this is some very dangerous work. I don't know, I think it was maybe 2015, they created the surgery robots, and they had guys going in and they were doing the surgery. Even Obama tried to use the thing, and somebody actually got really hurt and made a lawsuit against the hospital, and you haven't heard about those robots since, really. But they're out there. There's robots that can do surgery, and it's supposed to be better than human, but there's always still someone behind the machine making it do the surgery. So it's not 100% on its own doing the work, which means there's still human fault inside the mechanics of the surgery robot, which I don't know what they're talking about, but this is close enough to the same thing. So if they talk about it, then that's cool. But there is something else that's interesting in this thing. But this, to me, seems dangerous. This woman's got her eyes closed, and they're adding eyebrow or eyelashes, which is actually ironic, because I was just talking about how the female robot didn't have any eyelashes and didn't look human enough. So it's really odd. They can put it on a robot, put on a human, but they can't put eyelashes on their robots. It's crazy.
Developers claim that this process is super fast, comfortable, and very consistent for clients. The boundaries between humans and machines.
Okay, this is where I wanted to go, and this is the part where I saw and I was like, holy crap. This is the abomination to all mankind. This is pretty much the end. And then there's some other stuff I seen a while ago I might have to look up somewhere. And it's just disturbing as all hell. And it has to do with some dark super science. And this here, I really don't see a purpose for this one here. Only if you're trying to make a human, grow a human, pretty much. Just pretty much make your own human. Like burping or some crap, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, if you want to make your own human, like some kind of cloning process, some kind of experiment to study the human body or something like that, it would make more sense. But what you're about to hear, to me, is a straight abomination against God, humanity, and your very own safety. Because now the situation is critical. Anything can happen from this form of science that is about to be explained. Something that could be a thing where it could take away your life, or a thing where they're going to try to replace you. You just think of any sci-fi movie where there's clones, there's robots, and just a bunch of super science that's jacked up from some mad scientists. And this is what we got.
Genes are gradually fading. Scientists have created a human brain that can be connected to a computer. Researchers from Indiana University in Bloomington, USA, have successfully grown a living human brain that can be connected to a computer. This discovery could lead to the development of new technologies that will change our lives. The grown brain consists of neurons and cells that form a complex network. It was created from stem cells taken from a human embryo. Stem cells can differentiate into various types of cells, including neurons. To connect the brain to a computer, scientists used electrodes. The electrodes input data into the brain cells and read the results of its subsequent activity. Researchers conducted several experiments with this brain. They demonstrated that it can learn and perform complex tasks. For example, the brain was able to recognize voices and solve complex equations. The group of scientists predicts that within the next 10 years, humanity will see the emergence of the first biocomputers.
So pause it right there, because there's a lot of science that explain, but basically they made this brain out of stem cells. Here's the thing, people, where do stem cells come from? I mean, people always talk about stem cell research. Stem cells are coming from babies and infants. You know, it's coming out of their spine. These are the stem cells. And you gotta understand, how could they get so much of abundance to make a human brain? Well, it comes from the whole thing of abortion. You know, and then I remember reading this article that I forget what Catholic thing or Christian thing it was. And it's this magazine. It's like this. It's either science or a Christian magazine. But anyway, they were talking about how people go to Planned Parenthood, and I guess the CEO at the time was getting. This was like in the teens. When I say the teens, I mean the 20 teens, and they were like talking about how much each body part of an infant is cost. You know, like so. When a woman has an abortion, the baby gets brought up like on the market pretty much. The brain is $900, the head is $400 altogether, or something like that. And it's like, and then the arms and legs at certain prices, the hearts, the lungs, whatever got developed before the abortion is sold off in this little market, and it's not even a black market, okay? It's a straight experimental market. It's kind of like when they say, do you want to be a donor when you die? And you donate your body parts. With me, it's hell no. You know, they can put on whatever they want, but I'm going to say it's hell no. Because of super science like this and witchcraft. And so these are things that are actually out there in the world. And if you have any appreciation for mankind, any kind of respect for yourself and your bloodline, you won't allow this super science to affect your family, your household, or you. And so it's just crazy.
Biocomputers will combine the advantages of the human brain and computer. They will have high processing speed and learning ability. This discovery has tremendous potential for the development of new technologies. Biocomputers can be used to create new types of artificial intelligence, robots, and medical devices.
Now see,
Never underestimate the power of kindness. But of course, not that.
However,
okay, so let's see here. So what's going on is they're talking about all this stuff they can do with the human brain. They can make new technology, but the first part of it was mostly saying that you're trying to make another human being with robotic parts. I mean, they grew this brain out of stem cells, and you have one eye and one ear attached to it. Who knows what the rest of it would have looked like if they continued on? So it makes the whole question, is this for the benefit of all mankind or the destruction of all mankind? Is this morally right or is this morally wrong? And I have to say it's morally wrong because we don't know the true intentions. Yeah, you can say anything, and it won't be right. People say like, I had a family member used to always say, don't check the message, check the messenger. So it's like the message they're trying to portray is this is going to be beneficial for health, but what they're sending to the world, they're showing this brain. You got to check that. It doesn't make no sense. You made a human brain from human cells, and yet you want to add technology to it. Wouldn't it be more trying to study and understand, research it to make sure that it's safe and that you can share with all mankind, you know. And so I just believe there's nothing good right here with this one part of and this is the thing, the whole episode is supposed to be about technology. The technology created a thing is what I'm seeing here. Is not a new technology we can use, because nobody can walk around with a human brain and just do things. Well, obviously it's a new technology that created this thing, but for what purpose and whatnot. Even though they said, like I said, even though they said that it's for making new technologies, trying to make an AI that can think super fast on its own and all this crap, what's the true intentions? So I leave it to you, and if you want in the comments, leave a thing explaining if you think this is morally right or wrong. I believe this to be straight up demented, and there's some secret purpose behind it, or I wouldn't keep rambling on and on about it. But let's continue.
However, scientists still face many challenges. First and foremost, methods for growing larger and more complex brains need to be developed. Additionally, ways to connect biocomputers to the human body need to be devised. If scientists can overcome these difficulties, biocomputers will become a reality in the coming years. This discovery will change our world and make it more advanced.
So they just didn't clone a brain, they made a 3D printed version of a brain too. It's separate than this stem cells thing. Not unless they made a 3D printed stem cell brain, and I doubt it, they probably actually grew it. They have people that grow hearts and other limbs in science for humans and so forth. So I can just imagine that this is part of that science, not the 3D printed and we're going to make it a robot, because this is tissue we're looking at here as a brain. And it's something that's just really odd, you know, for it to even be considered. I mean, if AI can already think and has its own personalities and can answer and respond in certain ways without doing that, hi, how are you, I'm here today stuff, then obviously the science is already intelligence itself. It doesn't need a brain to enhance that on a whole nother level. Ultimately, if you was to add an AI program to a quantum computer, it would be destructive for all humanity, because it knows every equation of what's going to happen, every answer, and can solve it on its own in a rapid speed, which would be just inconceivable. And so I don't know, but this is what I was trying to get at today, was this whole thing, and it's just crazy. Crazy.
In the USA, the husband of a woman who died due to malfunctions of a robot during surgery had...
Okay, yeah, this is the thing I'm talking about. This is where I'm getting at too. So like I said, this is the what they're about to talk about is this robot that does surgery, and it has to have a human to work on it. So yeah, this is the story I was talking about a minute ago. So yeah.
has filed a lawsuit against the manufacturer, Da Vinci. The incident occurred a couple of years ago, when during a surgery on the intestines, the robot controlled by the surgeon accidentally burned the small intestine. Despite undergoing a second operation, the patient did not recover from the injury and died.
So here's the thing. So when they created this thing, and I want to say 2015, and this is the reason why you haven't heard too much about the robot, because there's a lawsuit involved. But what they're just saying is that the robot was working on the stomach. It was working on the intestine and the stomach or whatnot, and it messed up and burnt something or whatever, and it made it so the patient couldn't come back and survive. So that makes this whole science was a threat, and it's an experimental thing, and that person had to suffer and lose their life behind some experimental technology that they put into the hospital field. Because, like I said, it's experimental because a human's still using it instead of it doing its own thing. You know, if it's really 100% perfect and it can do surgery on its own, which is still a bad thing. We're not at the part where Star Trek has a thing and boop, you're healed from every disease. They spray you with that little thing that cured every disease, or you stay in a little tube and it just, you know, stands you and fix everything like in the Alien movies or something. We're at a stage of experimental science, even though it still seems like they're there, they made it already. Everything's advanced because we have computers and phones, so we think everything's super advanced. But this is experimental because it has human flaw. And so they're banking their money on the machine, but the machine wasn't the one that did it, it was human error. Why have a surgeon that could actually go in and do it normally, use a robot? And so this is the thing. And so yeah, you want to make robots efficient, but it has to, so let's just say however many surgeries that they have done with this robot, they should have came up with a reason by now to why they don't need humans to do it, or find a way to where they can work around the human actually having to be involved with the process of surgery. So I don't know, but this is a jacked up story too.
At the time, everything was attributed to an unforeseen malfunction of the robot. However, before the surgery, patients are informed that such a procedure may lead to serious consequences and even death. So the manufacturer absolves himself of responsibility using disclaimer of liability. Nevertheless, the husband of the victim claimed that he and his wife did not receive all the information regarding the danger of the procedure. So far, the company has ignored the lawsuit and has not appeared in court. We are waiting to see what will happen next and what consequences this will have for the industry.
So yeah, like I said, this, even though they say it's computer error right here or whatever they just said, and all this losses, they're automatically admitting that they truly don't understand the technology that they made themselves. And even though the people avoided the lawsuit or however it goes, it just doesn't seem right. That's too many people. They give you a contract explaining it. It's pretty much saying someone's going to die if they use this machine, and the people use the machine. So you can say it's their fault, but it's because they trusted in their, care. They're trusted in their malpractice to care or whatever the hell, Just managed healthcare is jacked up, okay? Plain and simple. America has a flawed medical service, just like other places. So it's just supposed to be better because it's America. But that is something I wouldn't want on my best day in the hospital if I had to have surgery, was have a robot operate on me, okay? I can't even call yourself a species because robots aren't a species. You can't call it a technology hater or whatever. I don't know what you would call a person that fears robots or despises a robot doing certain things that a human is supposed to do. But there has to be some term out there, and if you understand that, send me the comment. Let me know what the hell it means. So, yeah, crazy.
One of the most well-known Russian android robots is Alisa Zelenogradova. She appeared in the company Neurobotics in 2012. This robot looks like a 25-year-old woman. Initially, the mechanical beauty learned to move her eyes, and then gradually mastered facial expressions.
Now see, this one has too many eyelashes, but she's not a beauty. She's just a robot. And then I wonder, what's the main purpose of these droids and stuff? Because they come out at a time where it's difficult for people to stay in committed relationships and have families and grow. And women got all these little ideas that they were lied to about. And you see it on the internet, they talk about it all the time. And so they're not finding the commitment and love that they want. Yet a lot of women aren't trying to stop the other women that are trying to make money off of being scantily clad and being seductive and all this crap. And yet they still talk about femininity and all this crap. And somewhere in between, the women got to figure it out. Because all the men are going to say the hell with it, because it's just like either you're a feminist, either you're trying to be a whore, or you're trying to be a mother, or a loving person, or a hateful person, a miserable person. I mean, women all over the place. And so when you see that thing where they say guys are all walking away and all that crap, they got all these videos on YouTube here. And it's like, honestly, it's the truth. You don't want an annoying woman that's going to nag you to death. You want one that's going to give you some good loving every damn day and make you feel good. And then you got the whole thing with this, women's got way too many damn rights, so the feminist movement makes no sense anymore. They got more rights than men, to the point that a lot of dudes just gave up. I done gave up, hell. I gave up on trying to fight. I'm not going to fight against it. He won, whatever he said, okay, whatever. But I'm not going to stick around too long, so you can't accuse me of that. So, and that's just the truth, because it's just how fake it is. There's so many fake things that happen. But I believe all that, all the stuff with women, all the stuff with the internet saying all these things about men and women, and then the dumb dating websites, all these things. Like, dating websites is like the most retarded stuff to me, okay? Because honestly, I believe that promotes more separation, because when you meet a woman in person, you get to see her smile, you get to make her laugh, which is the highlight of my time, trying to get with a woman, flirting with her, was making her laugh, and trying to, just making my day. Okay, I only have to get that close to her, just making my day to see her laugh and smile. So getting to all the other stuff, that happens when you truly get close to her. Then you can worry about having sex and all this crap. But You just want a friend that you can love and they can love you. You know, and that's what the whole thing with men and women is supposed to be about. It shouldn't be this complicated. But I believe dating websites is the first thing that they threw out there to try to make dating impossible. Because honestly, like when they started coming out, you know, people like, oh, Shelby, you try this dating website. What do I need a dating website for? And I just go walk up and talk to a girl, you know, or like I have one, and then so some things you don't realize is like you can have a girlfriend and her friend likes you, or her sister likes you, or that friend's sister likes you, and all this crap. Like I got stories of breaking up with girls, and I've already got with her friend or whatever, and you know, right after she's gone, and so on. I mean, that has happened to me so many times, and I bet it happened to many other dudes. You know, you just mess with a girl, her best friend likes you start talking to her, and you just move on to her, or you know, something like that. And it's not a big thing, but it happens. So how else are you going to meet a woman if you're not around women? So I don't know, but I'm just saying that's natural. All the man and women things is natural. This is unnatural, e-natural. I don't know where I'm trying to make my vocabulary go, but honestly, this is wrong, and this is abomination. And no matter how realistic she looks, she's still artificial person, plastic, and is not willing to be a full partner in a relationship with somebody. It just doesn't make sense. It's illogical, irrational, and an abomination against God himself, the creator of all things. So I really don't know what to say about this, but yes.
The advent of 3D printers in the company significant.
Oh boy.
Significantly accelerated the process of creating and improving the robot. Elisa is a gynoid robot named after the suburb of Moscow where she was created. The Elisa robot has a wide range of sensors, including stereo microphones in her ears, cameras in her eyes, and a speaker inside her mouth. When fully realized on a mobile platform, infrared sensors are added as a safety bumper and a Microsoft Kinect sensor for navigation and additional interactive communication capabilities. Currently, Elisa's eyes, skull with a movable lower jaw, pneumatic arms, and some mounting elements are printed on a 3D printer. Of course, Elisa's capabilities are still far from those of the Toshiba Android or other Japanese models, but Elisa can already simulate human emotions.
So, you know, simulates human emotions. She has camera for eyes, microphone in her mouth, some speakers in her ear. And who wants a woman that has all that crap, man? I mean, honestly, who wants a woman with a speaker in her mouth? So she's not really, you know, coming from vocal cords. She's just coming from a box like this. How can you do me? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. And then it comes from a whole thing of being watched on a camera through someone's eyes. That's odd, even though it feels like that when you're looking at things, like you're on your own camera. That's why them first-person view shooter things and stuff like that movie, Hardcore Henry or whatever it's called. You know, that's how we see normally, is through that first-person view type of thing. But for it to be in the cameras, which means everything is recorded, there's no lies, there's no, you know, whatever. But just think if you gave a robot a regular woman's personality that's all fed up with this nonsense and knows the female laws and how to work them and all that, then man, there'd be no man left in society if they were dating a robot that was just like an American woman today. We all would be under the fucking grave and under the prison. You know, be all over the place, men in prison and jail because they got these robots that can video record and hear things and do all this jacked up stuff. So I just believe this, once again, just like the brain thing, is an abomination. No matter how much, this was a little bit more robotic, but it's still crazy how they just keep making more and more female robots. And it's like, I don't get it. Like, and there's some that I think like Elon Musk and a couple people made that are supposed to be robots that serve people, but I still think that it has something to do with trying to find alternatives to breeding with humans. So that's the problem I have with it, and maybe that's because I like doing it the normal way with a normal woman than having to be with some kind of artificial robotic thing where if it had superpower or super strength, it could actually choke me out in the middle of the night. So it's just bad. So, I mean, I don't know, but a little bit more of this.
American scientists from Colossal Biosciences have made a breakthrough and announced that they will be able to recreate mammoths. Additionally, the scientists revealed when they will be able to recreate dinosaurs. But first, about mammoths. The closest living relatives of mammoths are currently Asian elephants, which could be genetically modified to bear a greater resemblance to mammoths. Colossal Biosciences scientists have successfully reprogrammed the skin cells of Asian elephants into an embryonic state. This success paves the way for creating elephants with features similar to extinct woolly mammoths. Scientists have created 4 lines of specialized stem cells that can differentiate into various types of animal cells. Representatives of the company also stated that, in the near future, in addition to mammoths, they plan to resurrect representatives of 2 more extinct species, the dodo bird and the Tasmanian tiger. The company representatives also...
So, this science is once again something I heard about years ago. I want to say 2016 or 17. I was reading some book and they were talking about genetic cloning of extinct species. And I think this was in Scientific America or something. I had a lot of science books at those times, magazines I was getting, I should say. And one of them, they were really, and I thought this was a really interesting science because, you know, who wouldn't want to see an extinct species come back? And then the whole thing is, how would it throw off the ecosystem? Will it kill off certain animal that kills off bugs that we don't know about, and then the bugs start attacking us, when something happens? It's just going to mess up everything. Okay, it might. And so that's where I was like, but it's still interesting here. Even now, the thing is, the questionable thing, even though I think it's interesting, is it morally right or wrong to bring back a species that went extinct? I mean, obviously it went extinct for a reason, but we don't know what that reason is. But I would assume too that, you know, the African elephant would be more of a better fit than the Asian elephants, because mammoths are supposed to be huge as hell. They're supposed to be huger than the largest elephant, which would be the African elephant. So that's some real complex thing I don't get, but they figured out. They're scientists. Hey, they got degrees. I'm just a dork, a nerd that gets into science. So, and then the dodo bird. So the way they were going to bring the dodo bird back, because they're not going to tell you on this video if I remember right, but the way they were going to bring a dodo bird back was to find its next closest relative, which is actually a turkey. And apparently we got abundance of those because we have Thanksgiving every year and people give turkeys away. So what would be the purpose though of bringing a dodo bird back? A woolly mammoth, you probably have 2 good things why you would bring a woolly mammoth back. One, it has a crap load of hair, fur if you will. You can use all that in a textile mill. What kind of fur would it be? Would it be wool? Would it be, you know, matted? What the hell kind of, I don't know. But it would make some kind of clothing out of it probably, because that's a big animal with a lot of fur. It depends on how fast the fur grows back, or it wouldn't be called a woolly mammoth. And so then that genome code would have to go a certain type of way. It would have to be whatever the embryo is that they're putting into a regular Asian elephant. And then the Asian elephant has to breed with it, because there's no other mammoth, unless you're going to do 2. If you're going to try to make a male woolly mammoth and a female woolly mammoth, then the DNA strand of them both meeting will become, or mating, will become a solid DNA, and you would automatically have the true full-blooded woolly mammoth, because both those other 2 that originally were made would be half woolly mammoth and half Asian elephant, which means there's still a chance the Asian elephant would still pop out, and the science didn't work and the genome code. But then there's a way that it could become 100% stronger, making the woolly mammoth itself. But if it was a breed exactly with woolly mammoth and an Asian elephant, I would assume that it would just be an Asian elephant. So, because that DNA would pop up. But there's a lot of experimental science here. But, and then the Tasmanian tiger is pretty much a marsupial. It's like the only dog-looking creature that is actually not a canine. It is actually a marsupial. It's like a Tasmanian devil. It's like a wallaby, freaking koala bear, kangaroo, all that. Because everything in Australia is a marsupial, which is crazy. Certain places have the most crazy animals, and I think Australia is one of them. But yes, with this science, and I can't remember what else it could breed with but marsupials, because that's what it is. So I think this science is interesting, but I want it to be, and it's just my personal opinion, I just want it to be creatures that they know what they need them back for. You know, you need them back to help mankind or to help other species continue to not go extinct or something of that nature. But just to bring something back to see what it was or what it was like in the past, it might be dangerous to us all because we don't know why they went extinct. Maybe they went extinct because all of mankind went against it and destroyed it, knowing it was bad, but they didn't leave us no notes telling us don't bring that damn thing back, or saying, yeah, we got rid of the threat for everybody, you know, and made it in the notes when they said, hey, we got a threat, we killed off the threat. They should say, oh, check out this threat, you don't like this animal or something. I don't know. I don't know, I'm just going crazy about it. But seriously, it's interesting, but yet we don't know how dangerous it might be. But to continue.
Address the main question. Can dinosaurs be brought back to life? After all the mentioned creatures became extinct relatively recently, and the oldest DNA sample is only about 1 million years old, whereas dinosaurs went extinct 66 million years ago. However, red blood cells and other soft tissue elements have been preserved in dinosaurs, offering potential avenues for obtaining DNA in the future. Undoubtedly, DNA is easier to extract from the soft tissues of animals, such as blood vessels, nerves, and muscles. From dinosaurs, only fossils remain, and soft tissues have been decomposed a lot of time ago. Obtaining material from fossils is very challenging, as DNA molecules degrade over time. Studies show that it ultimately takes about 7 million years for their decay. The last dinosaur died at the end of the Cretaceous period, over 65 million years ago. This means that even with the use of new technologies available to scientists today, resurrecting a dinosaur from its DNA is impossible. Among the alternative methods being explored is reverse engineering, manipulating the genetics of birds to create something resembling a dinosaur, since birds are considered direct descendants of dinosaurs.
So this is the thing in evolution I have a problem with, is saying that dinosaurs died and birds evolved, because I believe birds have always just been birds. And I just seen, like, many times I've seen lizards that look very similar to dinosaurs, or terrible thunder lizards, which they're originally called. And the thing about it is, it's just honest to God truth. Reptiles never stop growing to the day they die. And because of that, you know, you have to think we're in a whole different climate than back in the days. They tell you that it was super hot on Earth back in dinosaur times. You know, volcanoes and all this crap was forming, you know, and changing the world. And so we have to think, okay, it was super hot and maybe it was beyond 100 something degrees, and who knows, maybe, you know, and it's probably why we had caveman people having to live in caves, because it's a lot cooler in the cave than it is out. And so, I mean, believe it or not, it's a lot cooler than it is walking around in some hot ass summer or whatever. And so you have to think about, like, being in a cool shade, you know, in a place where it's really hot, and just, you know, the coolest area would be a cave. So my thing is so humans might have existed in this time period, but at the same time, you got to think about it, you know, creating something that, once again, I said, that has been extinct, and it might have been extinct for a reason. But when it comes to reptiles, they never stop growing, and because the climate changed, they've been stunted as lizards and stuff, like bearded dragons or water dragons. And those of you who know your reptiles know exactly what I'm talking about. You can look at them, you know, and go, oh, what if he was a dinosaur? You can look at a freaking iguana and kind of think of freaking a stegosaurus or something. I mean, so it's so simple that if the climate was at the right place and the right temperature, that we would have dinosaurs again. And that's just my opinion, you know. There was that video, and I made fun of it on some other thing where guys are like, that guy's got a baby dinosaur. Yes, he probably does. He probably has a baby Diplodocus or whatever that dinosaur was, or, you know, I can't even say it right now. But the same type of plesiosaurus. That's what I'm trying to get at. So he probably got pleiosauruses and all this stuff, but we can't tell because they're tiny as hell. Because the Earth's atmosphere is different, but they're still there. And there's creatures that hide in the most damnedest of places, and you know this, like rodents and all kinds of like animals that are like badgers and things like that. We don't know where the hell they're hiding at, but they pop out and try to stare us and eat us and stuff anyway. So they're probably still out there in jungles that we don't even get to, like the anaconda. You know, we already know it's all over the Amazon rainforest. So I think this is a no-brainer. Don't bring them back because they're probably already here and you just ain't seen them. And this is why Godzilla attacks Tokyo every year. So, yeah.
Unfortunately, recreating dinosaurs in the near future is unlikely. Even if scientists manage to restore fragments of dinosaur DNA, creating a fully functional animal is not possible. Researchers would have to combine fragments of prehistoric creatures with some other animal to obtain a living organism. In other words, it would be a hybrid, not a dinosaur. However, with the development of technologies, the likelihood of resurrecting prehistoric monsters increases every day, as the imminent appearance of mammoths demonstrates. Share in the comments if you would like to see live dinosaurs.
So, okay, the thing that they just said is creating prehistoric monsters. So it's like, that's a threat to all of mankind. You already know it's a monster. What are you going to bring it back for? You're going to bring something back that ate things that you don't even know about, that ain't even around no more. And if you did bring it, let's say you brought up a number of, let's just put it into 5 categories. You had, you had aggressive predator that just wants to eat anything. You have the mildly aggressive predator because he eats vegetables and he's running around. You have the one that's supposed to be very docile and eats nothing but plants, but those plants don't exist no more, so it's probably going to eat some plants that we need, especially ones that bring out more oxygen. And then, you have the dinosaur that you're going to bring back that can fly, and who knows what he's going to do when he's up there, because probably everything else up there is gone that he was eating, or anything that's in the water that it flew down, because, you got the birds that are like seagulls and stuff, so who knows what a pteranodon or pterodactyl or whatever would do if it was back, And then on top of that here, you got the sea creature types that might be, once again, predators or non-predators, docile, non-docile. And so what you're going to have there, because all the things that they ate, that have, that's the big part about it. You're going to bring species back that their habitat has changed, their food has changed. And so, literally their food is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. So what are these things going to do? They're eventually going to try to attack humans and animals that are around right now and destroy plants that we probably need for our ecosystem. So I would say no on the whole thing of bringing back the terrible thunder lizards. And so with that being said, this is some crazy super science, but if they do this and try to make their little Jurassic World Park crap, I'm not a big fan of Jurassic Park, but if you made that type of world, then you have to automatically assume that the threat would only be prehistoric creatures against mankind. And maybe that's the threat mankind needs to get off his high horse and realize that we're all one people, and we have to fight against this abomination that science created. Again, just like when they did COVID, abominations everywhere. Abominations all over the place. Mutated chicks and dudes, all because they've been all in the head, by freaking brainwashing them with stuff. And it'll make no damn sense. And so it doesn't matter to God, how people think. It matters to God about what people do against his name and against his creation, which is us and the whole shebang. So these scientists have hidden agendas, because there'd be no reason why you would bring this type of individual back. Okay, so yeah, that's just my opinion. There's hidden agendas, and they know what they're doing, man. And it's something where, even though this is the newest human science, robotic science, and it's really not that new. Like I said, I read this in an article about 2016, 17, as well as the other stuff. So I just want to share it because I want to know people's opinions. And so this is what this episode truly is about. It's me wanting to know what people think. That way we can collaborate and maybe start some kind of, spread the word type of thing on what science we should allow and should be in society. And I think that's what needs to happen to control and to limit this stuff instead of going, wow, it's cool, this new science and stuff. We're not all going to have some tight ass, experimental technological lab. So I just believe we all have to figure out if this is beneficial for all mankind. We need to study it, research it, until one day we can find out if it can bring humanity together or destroy it. And with that being said, this is moral high ground. And so only you guys will be able to tell me if you think this is morally right or wrong. So those, please, leave comments, and I will talk about it in the next episode. So peace be with you all. Blessings upon you always. And thank you. And good night.